Chris, appreciate you joining us here today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
So I always like to start off, tell us who you are, tell us where you're from. Obviously, I think your past, your story, your professional journey is quite unique and different. So you take it away. Tell us who you are and how you got to Patterson.
Sure. Well, I'm Chris Fuson. I'm a branch manager at Patterson. I've been with Patterson for almost 12 years now, but I've been in the industry in one way, shape, or another since I was 14 years old. So just over 30 years at this point. Probably started out the same way almost everybody else did by, cleaning cages and helping out at rescue facilities and shelters. Worked my way up to a veterinary assistant. I didn't get credentialed or anything like that while I was working in practice. Graduated college, realized vet school wasn't going to happen. So I went into hospital leadership, did some stints with corporate practice, independent, privately owned practices. And, that brought me to Patterson about 12 years ago. Started as a territory manager and then promoted to branch manager in January of 2020.
That's outstanding. So clearly, I can see by the extra initials on the back half of your name, the CVPM title, the certification there. I guess walk us through why did you gravitate towards, the Certified Veterinary Practice Manager? How did that help you, not just in hospital leadership, but I think now in your position at Patterson, are you still able to pull and use some of those trainings and teachings that you did early on?
Absolutely. And to be honest, I didn't even have the certification when I was managing practices. I didn't get the certification until I was a territory manager at Patterson. And I knew that, anytime that there's an opportunity for me to grow or bring myself to the next level, I want to do it. So when I became aware of the CVPM, I knew that that was something that I wanted to do. And there were certain time restrictions to some of the requirements. And I knew the longer I was a territory manager at Patterson, the closer I was to, my carrots turning back into a pumpkin, right? So I got the requirements done, qualified to take the test, and here I am.
Wow. Well, I mean, clearly, Megan has it as well, but I think our audience is for the practice owners and for the practice managers. So I think, is there any wisdom, anything you learned in that process of obtaining the CVPM that you would want to reach out to other practice owners and say, hey, go through it, or here's what you should expect, or here's some things to avoid during that specific process?
Absolutely. Yeah. So when I got it after I was a territory manager, I basically used myself as an additional resource for my customers. Practice owners have to deal with so much, and, they don't necessarily have a lot of training or skill set specifically related to management or human resources. So anytime I could kind of help out or, just give some tips and tricks on hiring, interviewing, inventory management, something like that, that definitely benefited me and my customers when I was a rep. And then even more so when I got into the branch manager role, I've got 15 sales reps under me now between, New Jersey up to Maine. So my sales reps know that I'm a resource for them, that they could, use me as a resource for their customers as well.
Sure. And so I guess I think that's, and I was very, very fortunate to participate in the GPS Patterson event. Was it just a couple of weeks back in right outside of DC? It was eye opening for me because you know who Patterson is, the name, you know what you deliver. But just to see your reps and how closely connected they are with the practice owners, and you really saw that was highlighted over dinners and the side chat. It's like these weren't people that were just selling a product, selling a service, selling something to the practice owners. I guess is that the secret? And that must be the secret sauce to the whole company, because I guess, can you talk on that? You are so in depth with that practice owner, helping them in ways that I didn't even realize you and your team did.
Yeah. I mean, as a practice manager, I recognize Patterson above the other distributors because of everything else that they brought to the table. And now being on the other side of that as an employee of Patterson, just being able to do what we do, helping practices along the way. And it's, oh, by the way, you can buy all of those supplies that you need from us too. So to be able to, help somebody recognize a dream and bring that dream to fruition through a program like GPS. I think we've designed over 1,100 practices at this point and, provided all sorts of guidance and knowledge and training for practice owners that kind of help them realize that this dream that they have isn't as tough as it needs to be when you've got a trusted partner like Patterson.
I think the way that's exactly how I felt is like, oh yeah, as an afterthought, we can also tell you this. Like you lead with so it's like value, yeah, give. And also, oh yeah, and also, yeah, we also do this. This is why you're also here. It was just amazing to witness and see.
I mean, I was hooked from the first time that I attended GPS with one of my doctors as a rep. And once I went through the program the first time and realized, putting myself in the practice owner's shoes or, the future practice owner's shoes, it's a lot of information all at once. It's like drinking out of a fire hose, but I also knew how good this information was and how valuable it was. And, a lot of times as a sales rep, I would say to myself, if I was still in practice, this is what I would do, or this is how I would use this piece of equipment to generate revenue for their practice, or, this is how I would manage inventory with, a new product that came to market. So being able to help customers in that capacity, I knew that I wanted to get the GPS as many times with as many customers as I could.
Is there a specific story? Is there a specific event that happened that like stands out amongst them all, where you helped with a practice owner, and whether it be a challenging time but got to a great outcome? Is there one that sticks out more than the others that you want to share?
It's probably my first one, is practice in Jackson, and, first meeting with them in a diner and then going to see the space, and it's just an empty space and studs. And then, going to the grand opening and the ribbon cutting and, seeing them flourish as, a well-run veterinary practice now. It's really incredible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The one that stuck to me, the Patterson event, and I apologize, I forget the rep's name, but they showed a picture how he drove to the practice, taped out where the layout would be. And I mean, that's not your job like that, but again, the extra little effort to really put, like, because me, I look at a magazine, I'm buying something for the house, and I see it and I put it just doesn't, like, I can't visualize it, but then to like take the extra effort and to tape it out for the practice owner, I would imagine that practice owner, like the weight that was off my shoulders, just
and it's, kind of makes you wonder, how was it done before there was a GPS? People just did this on their own, like they just winged it. It's incredible, to bring the kind of expertise that we have across, dozens of people in the industry that we get to bring into this session a couple of times a year. It's my favorite event at Patterson, hands down.
100%. I mean, so clearly your team, the Patterson organization, you have your hands in everything. But me as a practice owner, I'm either three. I'm starting a practice, building a practice, going into a major renovation of my practice. How should I be attacking our conversation? When should I be coming to you for what services? How does your reps and teams best guide me through that process?
It's not that dissimilar from buying a house, right? First thing you got to do is get approved for a mortgage, and then you can go out and shop for it, right? So similar to that, you're going to speak to a lender first, and then once you got your loan approved, then you can get with your real estate agent and start looking for spaces. But really, most of the time, the practice owners that attend GPS or the, doctors looking to open up their own space are associates somewhere else. So they're already working full time, but they still want to get this project off the ground. And as opposed to them doing everything, with a partner like Patterson, you can take so much of that weight off of their shoulders to the point where, they're still obviously a part of the project, but they're not spearheading the entire thing. They've got a trusted team working on their behalf to kind of get everything going in the right direction.
And how frequent is that communication? I mean, it sounds like it's almost like you were the main point. You're favorited in the iPhone, like you were the first point of contact for everything.
Yeah. Sometimes we are, if we've got that relationship with the associate. Sometimes it's a referral lead from a real estate agent. Sometimes the lead comes from the bank. Sometimes it's, one of our vendor reps saying, hey, so-and-so is looking to go out on their own. It comes from a number of different areas.
Sure. So you and your team, again, I know if acting like I don't, you have the design capabilities and all. I guess, can you talk through more like the different verticals that you have within the organization?
I mean, pretty much everything that you need, So we have, if they're not directly employed by Patterson, then we've got a partner that we work with really well. So we have a real estate company that we work with in the healthcare space that can help practice owners find the exact space that they're looking for. We have a number of financial lenders that we work with. So, once we get them buttoned up with the financing, we can get them looking at the space. And then once they have the space, depending on the geography, we might be able to help out with the contractor, maybe not. But at the same time, usually the real estate agent will know somebody as well. And then we start talking about planning for equipment and, how we're going to outfit the practice.
Sure. I mean, I would think that when you do go to visit your practices, you're seeing the same faces and teams. You often find like the associate that is looking to leave, not compete, but leave. Will they reach out to a rep and say, hey, do you have anything within an hour distance that, is there any rumblings of a practice going up for sales? And even like that type of relationship that you can at least ask if I'm an associate looking to do something, ask some of those questions to the rep.
Yeah, sure. And, some of us even, have contacts on the broker side. So if there's somebody that wants to go in the business for themselves, but maybe a build isn't the way that they want to go, they're looking to acquire, then, we can connect them with somebody who brokers practices and, maybe can line them up with the right opportunity.
Sure. No, that's huge. We keep mentioning, GPS Patterson. Again, for someone who has no clue what we're saying here, what does that event look like? How many times a year is it? What benefits does it provide future practice owners and or current practice owners?
Yeah. So basically how I describe it is everything you need to know about owning your own practice or building your own practice. It's a 2-day event. We break up into 3 days. We offer it twice a year, usually in the spring and the fall. There's no cost for the practice owner and their guests to attend. They just have to get themselves there. So we just had an event down in National Harbor, Maryland, which was thankfully drivable for me. But, I know customers come in from all over the country for these great events.
Sure. Where is the next one? And is it something that prospective practice owners have to ask about? And what does that process look like?
Yep. So we're going to be doing it again in October out in Coronado, California, just outside of San Diego.
Very nice. Very nice. So you're going the East Coast, West Coast this year.
I'll be there.
And that was, I don't remember, was it the 30th event in National Harbor?
Yeah, National Harbor was our 30th event. And I think we've had something like over 1,000 doctors attend it since its inception. Been a really, really amazing program that, is incomparable to anything else in the industry.
I was going to say that is there, and I would doubt, is there anything even that rivals that level of education over that time span? I mean, that just feels like a unicorn in the space.
I mean, you might be able to catch parts of it, attending various conferences, but to get all of that very specific information in such a short time frame, again, at no cost to the practice owner other than travel expenses, it can't be beat. Not to mention the specific employees that we have at Patterson. We're the only distributor that has specialized capital equipment specialists, specialized technology specialists, whereas, some of the other distributors might have the same offerings, but that's one person that's the sales rep that also handles equipment and also handles technology. So, instead of trying to be the jack of all trades, we kind of have specialists for each role.
I gotta be honest, I found myself even like with my little notebook, just jotting down some things. You had great presenters, and there's some pearls in there that, regardless of, what profession you're in, and you clearly we're all in the same industry here. So I was able to pull, a bunch of good takeaways from it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Patterson, I would assume, spending as much time as you have there, would you say 12 years? It looks nothing like it did when you first started. What are you most excited about for the next 5-10 years of your Patterson journey?
Our new ownership. We were recently acquired by Patient Square Capital. So I'm really excited to see what our new leadership, our new CEO, our new executive leadership team can do to, keep us going forward and keep us going in the right direction.
Is it too soon to ask, or with that information, like, is there any other new initiatives, programs, offerings, distribution channels that you're going to have that are already being talked about and rolled out, or is it still being, kept under wraps for the moment?
Well, I would say the one thing that we have started, I think this came out around the end of March, was DVM Grow. It's our GPO, our group purchasing organization. We launched and we've already got, I believe, over 330 customers in the country. It's really taking off. It's really taking off. And, similar to Patterson, how we're able to partner with our customers and provide, all different avenues to help them grow their business. And that's exactly what DVM Grow does. It's going to partner with their practice customers in non-traditional ways to help them grow their business.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, can we spend a few seconds here? Like if, again, how can I, as a practice owner, get involved with sign up for, take advantage of DVM Grow? Is it mass rollout at the moment, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, we're open to everybody, any independent practices that's looking to potentially help save costs on their supplies or looking for other avenues in which they can save costs in the practice or help generate additional revenue. Talk to your local Patterson TM.
I think that insight alone is huge for the listeners here because I'm sure you've seen it as well. The industry has been discussing just the revenue growth, especially in that first quarter of 2025, not being there. Revenue is not growing. Your expenses continue to rise. Where you have margin compression, profitability starts to shrink. And obviously, you have on the other side of the spectrum the corporate consolidators that have the buying power. So big question, how do these independent practices stay competitive? And Patterson again steps up here to find a bigger and better solution here. I think every practice should reach out to their reps there and have that conversation, because if there's buying power to be had, we all need it. We all need it to focus on the 1% of our profitability. That's going to make a whole lot of a difference if the revenue growth just isn't there as it has been in past years. That's outstanding. Chris, appreciate you coming on here and talking about your history about Patterson, all of the good opportunities that Patterson provides these practice owners. So happy to hear that, happy to spread that, those good words to the audience, and appreciate it again. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me, Jharid. Appreciate it.